All right, what's up, everyone? Welcome to the stream. My normal weekly earnings stream. Usually pick some popular tickers that are doing earnings during the week, and then I'll stream it. We're live on YouTube, Twitter. I'm here in the Discord as well. I think we're even on Twitch now. Anyways, we're going to be looking at Microsoft and Google, both of them reporting earnings after the close today, which is about another 2 or 3 minutes. The exact times is Microsoft reports at 4:05 p.m. Eastern, and Google reports at 4 p.m. Eastern. So we'll get Google here in just a couple minutes. Go back to the candlesticks here. So Google and Microsoft kind of had a little bit of selling in pre-market, but have since kind of V-shaped recovered throughout the day today. And pretty similar scenario with Microsoft. So we know Google is going to be first here in a couple minutes. So I'll leave the ticker on Google for now, and then 4:05 p.m. we'll get Microsoft. I do have a trade set up for Microsoft that I opened earlier, right before the close actually. This is inverse iron condor. Now the expected move on Microsoft is when I opened the trade, it was like $22.25. It's dropped a little bit. So expected move up or down 21.69 around there. So we know what the expected move is. When I set up my inverse iron condors, I just try and, the move that I'm looking for, I try and be within the expected move. We have seen a lot of stocks doubling their expected move lately. So as long as I'm within the expected move, I'm usually okay with these trades. And this inverse iron condor, Microsoft, basically sold. This is for Friday's expiration for tomorrow. Didn't need to put a lot of time on this because we either get the move tonight or tomorrow morning, and that's it. There's no like waiting extra time on this for this particular trade. So the inverse iron condor, it's basically a debit spread on both sides of the price. Okay, so you got the call debit spread at the top, and we got the put debit spread at the bottom. I basically sold the 417.50 call, and then I bought the 415 call, and then I bought the 380 put, and then I sold the 377.50 put. Okay, so we got the call debit spread at the top, the put debit spread at the bottom, and that's what we use to form the inverse iron condor. And we already know the expected move is around 22 bucks. So just to kind of do some quick math here, and I'll go back to the candlesticks because I think, let me see, Google might have reported already. Got my other screen pulled up here. So as soon as the info comes in, I'll post that for everybody on YouTube and Twitter and Twitch, and then we'll go from there. So still waiting on some news. Should get it any moment. Just to kind of recap too, for Google, their Google's expected move. Let me just, okay, we're already getting a move on Microsoft. They're not supposed to report till 4:05 p.m. Eastern. Google was supposed to be at 4 Eastern. So kind of backwards here. I would have thought we'd get a move on Google first because they reported 5 minutes before Microsoft. But already getting a move on Microsoft. Bullish move, of course, up over 4% here in after hours, up almost $20 a share. So pretty solid move so far on Microsoft. Now, again, I don't think that at least the data to the public isn't out yet because technically they're not supposed to report until 4:05 p.m. But I'll just let me kind of zoom in here and go to the 1 minute chart and see what's going on. Okay, we are getting some moves on Google. Finally, it did wick down to 155, but recovered. And okay, we're getting just kind of some flickering candles, so just kind of stand by. But so far, Microsoft getting a bullish positive reaction up to over $20 in after hours. Google just hanging out here flat. Let me just double check a couple of things here. But anyways, back to the inverse iron condor just real quick. It was basically 1-to-1 risk reward. The debit was 125, max profit also 125. So if this trade works out, I don't care if we get a pump or if it sells off. You can see on my chart here, I'm protected on both sides. I just don't want the price to end up in this red tent here. That's where the risk is, okay? But just doing some simple math here, my break even on the top side is 416.25. So 416.25 minus the price at close, which was basically $3.99, but $399.29. So looking for about a $17 move on the upside, and then you can see I'll have some good profit on there. So I just need $17 to the upside. The expected move was about 22 bucks. So I'm within the expected move. Break even on the downside. Take the closing price, $399.29 minus 378.75. 378.75. There we go. And so I am kind of skewed a little bit to the top side, because the move I need on the top side is only 17 bucks. The move I need on the downside is $20.54 basically to get to my break even. But as you can see, I'm protecting on both sides. Just we don't want at the close of the session tomorrow, you don't want to still be in this trade if the price is still in our red tent, because that's when you're going to take the max loss. We can go to the table here, and let me just kind of widen this up, the range here. But you can see, tomorrow morning, which is it's already got, since we're closed already today, this whole table is tomorrow, April 26th, right here at the top. But you can see if we don't get the move by tomorrow morning, I can easily stop out of the play, and I wouldn't ever take this full max loss. So technically the risk reward is actually a little better as long as you manage the play accordingly. Like I say, if the price stays flat, I'm looking at maybe a $75 loss on each one, and 75. Let's do this max profit 125 divided by 75 risk. If you manage it properly, it's a 166% return on your money if we get a nice move. And you can even see if we get a nice move, we'll be very close to the max profit even tomorrow morning. So we'll see what happens. I'll manage the play tomorrow morning. Let's go back to the candlesticks. Okay, so Google. Oh, look at this. Google making a nice bullish move, up over 11% in after hours. And let me go ahead and post the Google results. I'm just going to share this on YouTube and Twitter and everything. So Google earnings are out. EPS $1.89 compared to the forecast of $1.51. So they beat EPS by quite a bit. So that's good there. Revenue came in at 80.54 billion versus estimate of 78.59 billion. So looks like they beat EPS and revenue. Beat revenue just by a little bit, but beat EPS by a lot. So good results so far on Google. Of course, we got the forward guidance to deal with. It kind of looks like they probably maybe gave some good forward guidance. Let me see if I can refresh my screen, my other screen over here, and see if we can get some more data on it. Okay, so far it's just that they beat EPS and they beat revenue. Go ahead and move this. Got some data from Unusual Wheels, which is basically what we already put out there. Not seeing any forward guidance stuff yet, but no worries. Positive reaction on Google, and let's go back to this Microsoft real quick. It is 4:06 p.m., so I'm assuming Microsoft data has been released as well. And okay, thank you so much for posting that. Microsoft earnings. Okay, so revenue came in at 61.9 billion versus an estimate of 60.9 billion, and EPS came in at 294 with a forecast of 284. So both Google and Microsoft both beat EPS and revenue. So now, of course, it all comes down to the forward guidance, because we've been seeing that a lot lately, where a company will beat EPS, they'll beat revenue, literally smash them, and then they end up adjusting their forward guidance for the remainder of 2024 down, and then investors just hate that. They hate that with a passion, and then we see the sell-off. So, it's not all about EPS and revenue. We got to take the forward guidance into consideration. But so far, bullish reactions on both stocks. Sometimes we'll see a little fake out candle and it goes the other way, but not really seeing that right now. Now going back to my Microsoft trade here, you can see my break even was I just needed above 416.25, and this is going to be a solid payday for me. I opened up a handful of these. So 416.25, and Microsoft is above 420. So it looks like my trade, and I shared this with the Discord group. They're pretty sure there were some other members that went in the trade with me. And so far, I don't want to speak too soon, but so far, looking really, really nice on the trade we opened up earlier today. And that's the beauty of it. Like, a lot of people play earnings, and they like to be biased. You know, they either get calls or they get puts. And it's like, okay, well, you only got, one way the stock can go for you to win your trade. But that's why I like these condors, the inverse condor. Of course, this is the opposite of a traditional iron condor. Traditional iron condors, it's a credit spread on each side of the price, and we're basically trying to trap the price in between our two credit spreads. Inverse iron condor, we're not collecting a credit anymore when we open it. We actually pay a debit. So we're actually buying the condor instead of selling it. So that's what makes it the inverse. And it's basically the opposite of what a traditional iron condor would be, where we're trapping the price in the middle. The inverse iron condor, I pull these types of trades out for earnings. Okay. And the reason why I do that is because these types of trades are great when we're expecting a big move. I've been trading these inverse iron condors all year with the Discord group, and we're making some decent money. But the beautiful thing is I'm not technically biased. I mean, there is still some risk. Okay, just getting some more news here. Google declared a cash dividend, 20 cents a share, and they're doing a basically repurchase, which is a share buyback, 70 billion share buyback. Huge news. Let me go back to the sticks here. Okay, this is on this is Google. Okay, so Google declares a cash dividend and a share buyback plan. So that's why we're seeing Google almost, they're ripping pretty nicely right here. This is the 1 minute chart. I can even go to the 15-minute, and it's just a huge green candle here. Let me go to 5 minute. Yep, 5 minutes, just two 5 greens. Let me go 3 minute. Don't even have 1 3 minute red candle. That don't even have 1 1 minute red candle closing yet. So this is just straight buying pressure here, up over 14% in after hours, up over $22 a share here. So congrats on the Google bulls. I know there were some people in our group that were bullish, and they're going to be waking up to a nice surprise, nice reward tomorrow morning. So congrats to the Google bulls. Microsoft pulling back a little bit. Let me, probably be a good time. Let me go ahead and draw a fib on here and see if we're getting, guess what kind of retracement levels we got here. So kind of hanging out around the 25% retrace, which is right around 417.50. Did kind of dip below that a little bit. Let's see if we can get some buyers jumping into the trade here to the upside. And let's just kind of give it a second for some more candles to print. Back to Google. So far, so good on Google. Wow, this is a great move for them. Just wanted to kind of look at the weekly chart real quick. Let's see here. So we closed at 156. They've already broken through their all-time high. So this is new all-time high for Google, folks. They've never been this high before, and they're at almost $178 in extended hours here. So what a move into new all-time high territory. This is super good for the Google bulls out there. So I'm gonna go ahead and give an early congratulations on that, because it doesn't look like it's going to be coming down, but we could get a healthy pullback, kind of what Microsoft is doing over here. Had a pretty solid pump from 398 all the way to 424, which is a pretty significant move for $400 stock here. And they've now pulled back to the 25% here. We see that a lot. And even if it's going to end up being a healthy uptrend, pulling back every once in a while by 25% is healthy price action. Give the RSI time to kind of cool off a little bit, and then it can go for another high here in after hours. We'll see what happens. I'm not saying it's guaranteed it's going to keep going up. This very well could start selling. Still kind of waiting on some forward guidance on Microsoft. Let me just refresh my other screen over here. So I want to know what the guidance was. Okay, let's check. And while I'm waiting for that to pull up here, let me just go back to Microsoft. And yeah, they always have they always do a really good job beating EPS. Just one little blip here, July 26, 2022. They missed it by 0.06, which wasn't even really a big miss. But other than that, just solid EPS numbers from Microsoft, looking at the past previous 10 earnings. So obviously real solid there. The move that they have going on right now, let's see here. Okay, so they're up almost 5% in after hours. And the last time they were up that much after earnings was back in April of 2023. They were up over 7% the next day. Just about a $20 per share gain there. But the most recent time, they were actually a little red the next day. Not by a lot, only by like $10 a share. And then the time before that, they were green the next day, a little green, 3% up. And so they were up $10 a share. So the reaction we're getting today, if this ends up holding up here, this is going to be a pretty solid $20 move to the upside. And like I said, back to my trade I opened up earlier today. I'm just looking for it to be above 416 by tomorrow. And then I should have some pretty sweet gains on the table here. And then I'll go ahead and take that profit. So if it does start selling off for whatever reason, I would need it to go back the other way quite a distance to a little under 379 for this trade to work out. We'll see. I obviously would like for it to either hold where it's at right now, or maybe just start trending up. But anyways, that news on Google about that cash dividend and the 70 billion buyback, that's some pretty solid news for them. And like I say, they're in new all-time high territory as we're speaking. Let me look at Microsoft monthly chart real quick. And let's see here. Okay, so Microsoft does have a previous high of a little over $430. So they're not technically in all-time high territory. They haven't broke through that yet. So obviously, next level to the upside is pretty clear here. Around $431. Okay, so they're still about $10-11 off from that mark. But flipping back to Google, they've already surpassed their all-time high and have now made a new all-time high. So good stuff there on Google. I'm gonna pop a Fibonacci on Google just because I want to see where that 25%'s at. Okay, it's right around 173.37. So as long as Google stays above 173, you could probably bet that this is going to keep making new all-time highs here in after hours. And we'll see what the price action is tomorrow morning when we get the pre-market data. Just give me 1 second here. And yeah, that's the kind of fun fact. Google, with that dividend announcement, this is the first dividend ever. They've never paid a dividend before. So just imagine everyone who has Google like in their retirement accounts or long-term holding, this is a true cherry on top for Google now. And obviously investors are taking it very positively. And that's great. This makes me happy to see these two big hitters, these two big players, both getting bullish reactions. This is really good here, folks. So obviously we're probably seeing SPY run in after hours. Let me just go to SPY real quick. If I'm scrolling right by it, sorry, y'all. Hold on. SPY, yeah, SPY's up almost 1% in after hours. So obviously with big players like Google and Microsoft, and we're getting very positive reactions to the earnings data. In turn, we're seeing SPY pump here in after hours. Pretty solid pump too, because SPY closed at basically 503.50. 503.49, and boom. I mean, they're up $5 in after hours on SPY. So pretty solid move on the SPY ETF, which obviously is the ETF that tracks the S&P 500. So let me go back to Microsoft and just see what we got going on here. Okay, getting some, yeah. So that 25% pullback we were looking at was short lived. We got this 5-minute red candle that pulled us back to 25%. It's right around 417.50, and man, I love watching for these 25% pullbacks after a rally, after a pump, especially like intraday pump. They can be good spots to wait for the pullback, and good spots for continuation. And obviously, if 25% fails and 38% fails, I usually just wait for the golden fib at that point, which is the 61.8%. And these levels aren't 100%, but they're good levels to go by if you know anything about the Fibonacci sequence and stuff like that. But so far it looks like 25% held on Microsoft, around 417.50 area, and buyers trying to continue this to the upside. Google, basically just getting that 25% retracement that we were just talking about. Let's see if it can hold above there, and then maybe go for another high in after hours. It's about 4:18 p.m. Eastern, and let me just kind of show some more comments here. We got almost 200 people joining the stream, mixture of YouTube, I think mostly Twitter. We got a pretty big Twitter presence, and then Twitch. But welcome everyone to the stream. I do this, I know I usually do this on Wednesday. It's either Wednesdays or Thursdays every week. I'll come on here and we'll talk about a couple stocks, and then I usually go over a trade that I had set up earlier in the day with our Discord group. And so far we've been making some decent money on these earnings plays, just using the inverse condors. And let me go ahead and pull over some of the other trades that we've done. Okay, let me just pull this over real quick so everyone can see. So this was the I alerted this to everyone. We had about 30 minutes until the close, because sometimes these if you're new to condors, putting all these legs into the trade ticket, sometimes if you haven't done it a lot, it takes you maybe a solid 5 minutes or so to get the trade ticket filled out. But once you've got it down, and I use like hotkeys and stuff like that with Thinkorswim with my Schwab account, so it's a little easier for me. But so this was the trade from today, and then the last one I did, Tesla, because Tesla had earnings on Tuesday, so we did another inverse iron condor on Tesla, and only paid $110 for it, and just did one of them, and then yesterday ended up go ahead and securing that profit for an easy $82. And got another one here. We did another condor on United Airlines. This is when they did their earnings, and I had the trade posted for everybody earlier in the day. On that day, I posted this around 1 p.m., so plenty of time for people to get into that one, and secured a nice bag on this one. These are just easy trades for me, and usually I'm not like putting a huge percent of my portfolio into these, obviously, because they're earnings plays. And with the earnings, I just trade light. I usually use profits from some of my previous trades. I trade a lot of spreads, and if I this was just one week here. This was last week on United Airlines. So just quick, easy money that I collect every week, just doing these trades. And it adds up at the end of the month, and then we have some solid money. I'm mainly the spread trader in our group, and let me just show you some of the more recent spreads. Scroll down a little bit. Here we go, option spreads. So I do have a Cisco put credit spread out there right now. Basically, the mid 40s seem to be some solid support on Cisco. They did get some negative PR recently, but this expires May 17th, and I'm scaling into the position. But $1 widespread, collecting $27 for each one. I think I bought 4. I think I sold 4 of them, collected around $100. Just as my initial entry. I can always add to the position if it goes against me a little bit, but definitely tight stop loss after that. The last one of the more recent, another spread I did was on Nike. We traded Nike, opened this trade on April 16th, collected $50 in credit for each one I sold. And then this ended up being a 2-day trade, only took 2 days. I was shooting for 50% on it. Got 43%. I was happy with that. Decided to secure my money and move on. So that's what I did. I do still have an open spread on Roku. I have not closed this out yet. This was a 5-wide spread. I sold the 55 put for May 17th and bought the 50 put for May 17th to form the 5-wide spread. Got paid $123 for each one I sold. And I'm actually still in this position. And as long as Roku stays above $55, this is a no-brainer. I don't really lose sleep on these plays as long as the underlying price is on the right side of my spread. And let me see, Roku is back above 60 as of today, I think. This is my main watch list here. Yep. Oh, nice. Roku's up pretty solid in after hours here. Okay. Shoot. I'm probably going to have some decent profit on this Roku spread because I opened up a couple of these. So I'm excited to see what profit I'm going to have on the table on that. If this kind of little pump Roku's having an after hours. But like I said, the bottom line is on for me, at least for these put credit spreads, is as long as we enter as a good entry as possible, but basically as long as the underlying stock stays above my short strike, I'm really not sweating the play much. I'm able to sleep at night. I'm not stressed out. And now of course, if the underlying stock breaches my spread, if it breaches my short strike, I'll start to look at it a little more closely. Obviously, if it breaches the whole spread, we got some management that needs to go on there. We could maybe turn it into an iron butterfly or something like that to kind of salvage the trade. So there's more than one way to skin the cat, as everyone knows. And some people think with the spreads, it's like one shot, one deal. There's so many things you can do with multi-leg options and so many ways how I can take an existing trade and actually, if the trade goes against me, I can manage the position and actually turn the trade into a completely different trade if I want. So there's lots of options there. But Roku, like I said, as long as it stays above 55, this is going to be a solid trade. Collected $123 for each one I sold. In case y'all haven't realized, I mainly sell options. I do buy options here and there, but a lot of times when I'm buying them, it's usually like a inverse condor where it requires a debit to open it instead of a credit. But most of the time, I'm an option seller. I've been selling options for a long time now. And that's basically what I do in our group is I'm the option seller. We do have some other analysts in the group. Ethan is another one of our analysts, and he basically all he does is day trades options in the morning with the entire group, live trades every single day. So Ethan handles our option day trading, naked options per se. And then we have Mr. SLP, whose name is Lee, and all he does is swing trade equity. Okay. Now he does trade options and alerts day trades here and there and stuff like that. But his bread and butter is swinging stocks. Okay. And he's been doing it for a long time. He's been in the business for a long time. And it's great to have someone like that here that just has tons of knowledge and experience. And his bread and butter is actually trading stock, not options. And then we have a great technical analysis coach. His name is Jay. And he's just probably one of the best technical analysis traders I've ever met in my life. So we got a pretty solid group here. So back to just a recap of the spreads I'm doing. We'll go back to the candlesticks just to kind of see what's going on because this is about Microsoft and Google. So let me just take a little quick peek before I continue. All right, so Microsoft did lose the 25%. Let's see if it can hold this next level here, which is the 38% retrace. And we'll see what happens. Google holding up very, very nicely. Google holding up very, very nicely above 175 right now as I'm talking. Has not breached the 25% retracement and it's kind of holding up very well above that. So we'll see what happens. But moving forward for the rest of the extended hours, I'll just slap a Fibonacci on here, and these are just levels from a bird's eye view, quick glance that you can tell if it's breaking down or is it recovering some of these levels and continuing to make higher lows and after hours, or does it start making lower highs and we start downtrending? That's we can use these levels to kind of figure that out. So let me go back here to so I talked about Roku. Tesla was another one I got some decent money on. This was earlier in the month. Got about 50% on that one. And then last month traded Beyond, got a sweet profit on there. Traded Affirm, sweet profit on there. I do take a loss every now and then, so I don't want everyone thinking I'm just showing winning trades. I can show you, sometimes it's hard to find my losses because my win rate on these spreads is around 80-90%. But this was on a PayPal spread, 41% there. That was for each one. I usually open a couple of them. I know there was one I stopped out of earlier this year. Which one? This was one on SPY I did. Where the hell am I losing trades? Okay, here's one. Because I just, full transparency here. I'm not here to blow smoke up everyone's ass. This is one I traded DraftKings. This was in the early March, and I just had to stop out of it. I was actually short on DraftKings, and the whole market ripped on me. And it's very important to know risk management. We can get all the wins in the world, but if you can't manage your losers, you're gonna be SOL at the end of the day or the end of the month or whatever. So yes, I do have losses every now and then, but I cut them as soon as I. Here's another okay, so here's my two losses here. I stopped out of Apple, and then I had and I show everyone, okay, I lost 25%, right? I'm not trying to hide anything. And then I stopped out of DraftKings. I think those were my only two losses. Let me just keep scrolling up here. So I traded. Okay, there's a SPY trade. Okay, that was a win on Netflix. That was I remember that one. That was a good one. Oxy. Okay, I stopped that at Oxy, so here's three losses. But overall, if you scroll through this channel and just go back to when 2024 started, I think I've alerted like 25 spreads, and I've lost like 3 of them. So full transparency, I'm human, okay, and there are some trades that don't work out, but we just got to learn to spot it. And if it's not working out, we can't keep throwing good money at a bad trade, if that makes sense. So the sooner we can learn to just cut the losers. It didn't go against us. Just accept the fact that we were wrong about the direction. Get the hell out of that trade, and let's focus on a new opportunity, right? So let me move this back over here. And what time is it? 4:30. Okay, it's been a solid 30 minutes here. Microsoft. This is a 5-minute chart. Getting a 5-minute candle. It does have a wick on the top though, so sellers are trying to push this down. Let's see if the buyers can win this print here. This candle just started. It's only 1 minute into the candle, 4 minutes left here. Let's go over here on this 1-minute chart on Google. I have to say, I'm impressed with Google holding up here. Microsoft has already retraced 38%. Google officially did hit the 25% retrace. Okay, but still holding up here. Now, I was trying to spot some divergence here. I was going to call this bearish divergence, but it is kind of making slightly lower highs here at the top, so that's not really divergence there. So let's just kind of keep watch here and see if this 25% holds. Microsoft looks like it's wanting to hold here. We got some buyers on this green candle. 5-minute chart. RSI still above 70, starting to curl up. So this is what I mean when the RSI when Microsoft went up to 424, RSI was at 93. I mean, it's pretty obvious that needed to cool down. So it cooled down, and getting a little bit of a curve here on the RSI above the 70, which means there's still some strength here. Even if it fell below, even if RSI fell below 70, I'd be looking for it to hold above 55. RSI 55 and higher is still pretty strong in my book. So let's see if Microsoft, maybe this is just a healthy pullback, and then it goes on to keep trending up, and maybe this could be a higher low, if you will, from back here when it pumped. Maybe it's trying to form a higher low here. So we'll see. We'll keep our eyes on that. Yep, Google going to all-time highs with big news. Absolutely. Google paying its first dividend ever, and a 70 billion share buyback for Google. What? That's just fantastic for them. Looks like both stocks are holding up pretty well here. Okay, so like I said, sometimes the first move sometimes is a fake out move, and then it dumps, or the first move is a down move, and then it flies. Not really seeing any fake out moves here, folks. So this could be the reaction. As far as extended hours tonight goes, of course we need to wait for pre-market data tomorrow morning, and I'm just shooting for Microsoft to be above 416 by tomorrow morning, and this should be a nice profitable trade for me. If not, I'll stop out for just a portion of what this max loss is showing. So I'm not even worried about that. Heat map. Obviously, Microsoft was down pretty big today before the earnings, and so was Google. So almost kind of like a sell-off. And that was more due to the pre-market action, because they sold off in pre-market, and then they ended up having a V-shaped recovery intraday. So even though it's pretty red numbers, they did kind of retrace the pre-market sell-off, and here we are in after hours. Both stocks are up pretty decent. Because of the earnings. Apple up a little over 0.5%. Meta was down 10% today. Obviously, they had their earnings, and they got negative reaction with their earnings. Just go back here and take a look real quick. Let me go to like 1 hour chart. Yep, that was from yesterday's earnings. Okay, Meta reported yesterday after the close. Kind of grinding back up from that 399 low though. That's pretty interesting here. I want to see, just put that there. Okay. So they're kind of retracing back. They're actually making lower highs. It's just a 1 hour chart. So Meta might be on its way to recovery. And just look at, if you play like bottom bounces, this thing hit 399. Now it's at 444 today. That's a 10% move to the upside on a $400 stock. Pretty impressive, the recovery on Meta. So, not all doom and gloom. If you were bullish on Meta, or you had Meta in a long-term account, or retirement account, or whatever, I know the price action from yesterday's earnings reaction is not what you wanted to see. But it's not all doom and gloom, because they're retracing back up pretty nicely here, and already retraced up 10% from the 399 low that it hit. So I think Meta holders, y'all are going to be just fine. Don't worry about it. You'll be fine. Go back to Microsoft real quick. See here. Okay, go to 5 minute. Okay, so still holding above 38% here. That's basically $414. So moving forward, would like to see Microsoft hold 414, and then start slowly getting back up here to the after hours high at 424. Google kind of holding up here above 25%, which is basically above 173. They're sitting at 174.50-ish right now, up 12% in after hours. Microsoft's up 4% in after hours. All right, so at this point, I think we got the moves we were looking for. Pretty safe to say both of them are positive reactions to earnings data. So pretty good there. At this point, I think that'll probably be good for today. And like I say, Microsoft stays above 416. My earnings trade from earlier today would be just fine. And we'll just have to wait and see for the rest of extended hours. And then, of course, the pre-market data. I did want to mention before I got out of here, let me just take a quick look here at the sector information. So we did have a lot of, okay, yeah, kind of a mixed bag. I mean, tech sector was slightly green today. Discretionary and staples were both red. So kind of not really telling a lot. I mean, we do have some safe haven stocks sectors at the top here, like basic materials, energy, industrials, and utilities. Usually when we see those sectors at the top, kind of tells me we're in a more of a risk off market. But we do have some data coming out tomorrow, and it's the PCE data. So that's tomorrow morning at 8:30 in the morning, 8:30 a.m. Eastern. All right. And just so everyone knows, if you don't know what the PCE data is, it's the personal consumption expenditures index. Okay. So it's basically a measure of inflation that tracks the changes in prices of goods and services purchased by consumers in the US. That's exactly what it is. So it is a key inflation metric that the Feds do watch. It's not all about PPI and CPI. Okay, there's more to it than that, and that's that we got their sibling PCE over here, and it's a measure of what it's a measure of the changes in the prices of the goods and services that us consumers in the U.S. Spend. Okay, so this is very important tomorrow morning. This is a market moving data. So just be aware of it, you guys. Guys and gals, you gotta check the economic calendar and know what you're up against. You don't want to get caught in some sort of event when you could have easily have took profits and sat on the sidelines just until the news came out. Next week on Wednesday, May 1st, the big meeting, Chair Powell's press conference for the interest rate decision. I'll be streaming that live with everyone. And also 10 o'clock in the morning, we got job openings too. So job openings and then followed by Powell. So next Wednesday, big interest rate decision meeting. I honestly just think they're going to hold the rates constant. There is a tool I'll share with everyone that I look at that shows me the percentages of what Wall Street thinks is going to happen during the meeting. And this, you can simply just look at this URL up here. I'll post this on YouTube for everyone, just in case people weren't aware of this tool. Let me scroll down a little bit here. Okay, let me just post this. Yeah, so just copy that link there. It's the CMA, the CMEgroup.com. It's the interest rate FedWatch tool. Okay, and right now, 97.1% chance that they hold the rate, they hold it steady. They're not going to adjust it. They're not going to adjust it down or up. Now, there is a chance they could, 2.9%, right? But this just tells us right here that they're probably just going to hold rates higher for longer. And to be honest with you, the PCE data tomorrow morning, that, depending on that report, that could change this. So we need to kind of see what PCE comes in at. Maybe these numbers change a little bit, but the probabilities for the May 1st meeting, which is next Wednesday, chances are they're just going to hold it current. Okay, so I hope that was a helpful tool for anyone that didn't know that you can check the probabilities on whether they're going to hike it or decrease it, and stuff like that. Okay, so went over that. And then, so I just wanted to go over the, make sure I mentioned about the Fed meeting next week and the PCE data tomorrow morning. But yeah, other than that, had fun streaming. Oh, it looks like Microsoft bulls are still present. RSI curled up again. MACD still firing off a bull signal with a bullish crossover on the MACD from when it pumped earlier. TTM squeeze still very much squeezing. So that there could be some more upside with Microsoft, and it's kind of I don't use like 10 different indicators. RSI, MACD, TTM. That's it. Sometimes I don't. Sometimes I just use the chart and RSI and one moving. I like the 20-day moving average. Keep it nice and simple. Can usually get some solid trends just following price action and the one moving average. Google on its way to make another all-time high. Amazing. Amazing. All right. Well, it's almost 4:45 p.m. Let me just make sure I didn't miss any notes because there's over 200 people joining the stream right now. Like I say, it's a mixture of Twitter, Twitch, and YouTube. Thanks again for coming out, you guys. I always have fun hanging out and streaming and talking, and you know, I've been trading for quite a while now, and I like being here. Jerry Garcia said, "Thanks, bro. Absolutely, you're welcome. Thank you for coming out and hanging. I had fun." Yeah, Jerry Garcia, thanks for pointing that out. Microsoft earnings call is at 5:30 p.m. Eastern. So anyone that wants to tune into that, you literally only have to Google Microsoft Investor Relations. Just Google that. And it's probably going to be the first link that pops up. You click on that and you'll be able to join the earnings call with the CEO. But that's going to be a pretty good earnings call. And so just to kind of let you guys know where you can go to find that, just Google Microsoft Investor Relations. You'll be able to locate the earnings call, no problem. But with that said, I'm going to go ahead and wrap up the stream. I appreciate everyone coming out. If you're interested in joining our group for free, like I said, I'm not here to sell you anything. There's a link in the description. You can sign up for free. We live trade every single day, and there's a lot of education there and everything. And we treat the group like a business. You know, we don't put up with no drama. If there's ever any drama, usually the member that caused it is usually kicked out of the group pretty quickly. But we're all there to make money. We treat it like a business, and as it should be. Okay. But thanks for everyone joining, and I hope everyone has a fantastic night. And for those that are listening that are part of our group, PB Alerts, I'll see everybody tomorrow morning. Cheers, y'all.